Oh, narinig niyo ba yung sinabi ko? I'm sorry, guys. Guess you
we're
know what
pre
we're talking about.
we're pre-prodding. We were
Di
di
niyo narinig.
narinig.
Di niyo narinig. Okay, safe, 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 safe.
Kala ko narinig na mag-pre-prod tayo eh. Sige. I'll put it after NJPW.
Okay,
No,
sige,
let's put it
sige.
after NJPW.
Sige, sige.
Ito, nagpe-pre-prod pa kami.
Now, we just want to make our 12th anniversary stream as stacked as possible. Kaya naglalagay pa kami ng news articles.
God damn. What up, Neil? Sorry, Emil's not here, Neil. He is of all the days he could be gone, no?
Hmm, grabe. Now it's just me and Ro holding down the fort.
Oo, kung kailan anniv natin, wala si Emil Nate.
Diba, feeling ko sa Thursday marinig yun naman yung play natin niya about one former NFL punter.
God. No, he already posted a play about it on the
Oh, yun pala
reels.
eh.
So yeah, so you can hear that. We also might have an announcement regarding the future of the live streams. So yeah, hindi naman mawawala. Mag-iiba lang.
Mhm.
I mean, well, Jasper, he already recorded a reel about it. You want to? I mean, you don't. He technically doesn't have to. I already made him rant about it. Nung Saturday. So na naman tong Facebook di nag-update ng live stream ko
Guys,
comments.
lipat kayo sa YouTube if you can.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. That's all.
That's actually the best way to support us right now. Lipat kayo sa
Yeah, man. YouTube is much better right now.
YouTube.
So if you can, go follow us and then watch us on YouTube. Say hey to Albert on YouTube.
Hey,
And
biyahin
Joe.
niyo si Albert. Watch on YouTube.
Yeah, we actually encourage you, and we will talk
Yep.
about that. Have to keep refreshing the Facebook live stream dahil dito. No, John, he was gonna rant about it, but instead of waiting for today,
He did.
I made him do a reel about it. Like he was raring to go. He was raring to go. He had a whole rant. You've seen this. You're in the Discord. He had a whole rant ready, but instead of making him wait, pinagawa ko na siya agad kasi it's too hot a topic. So, you know, you know. Hell yeah, Albert, you know what it is. So we can make it monetized.
Yeah, give us all that good shit. Diba? Like, subscribe, share the episodes, comment kayo. All of that helps, man.
Yep. Yes, sir. Let me try mobile. Let's see if it's working better. Almost time.
hit my music and yeet.
My name is Colin Cash Money Cannon.
What do we want to talk about?
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
You're still just a kid. Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Because mommy is always on top.
This is Lola Vice. I love you so much.
They love my Latina heat.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
You are CM Punk.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
To say his name.
Say his name and he appears.
Stan C, the voice of Philippine wrestling. University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Romoran, the fancy dad. University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Chino Liao, Best Gout Machine, San Sebastian College Recoletos, College of St. Benilde, De La Salle University, International Academy of Film and Television.
Neonate, Small Forward, the Ateneo de Naga University.
And you're listening.
You're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast. And you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
On our Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
You're listening to the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You are now listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast on its 12th anniversary today. This is the Wrestling Podcast. And on its 12th anniversary, it is medyo sad because it's just myself and
wala
Chino.
tayo. Kahit audio board, wala tayo. Pero gagawa natin ng
It's
pamaraan. Yun na lang. Wala tayong audio board eh.
Yeah. Hello everybody. It's Ro and Chino joining you on our 12th anniversary. If you're watching on Facebook, we highly encourage you to go watch us on YouTube instead because medyo mahirap kabanding si Facebook ngayon. So yes, welcome to the 12th anniversary episode of the Wrestling Podcast. Thank you to everyone, by the way, for making us reach 12 years, for supporting us through thick and thin, through offline and online, through streaming and audio only. It's been crazy. We're not the most popular wrestling podcast in the world, but I'd like to say that, given our Spotify stats, given our YouTube stats, we seem to have made a decent name and niche for ourselves. So thank you so much for being here with us through all the 12 years. Through the weird early years, through the middle years where we were finding our own way and not having the best equipment, to now the live stream era. And it's been really great to be your weekly serving of wrestling talk in your wrestling diet. If you come to us for the analysis, the takes, the insights that you want to hear about everything that's going on right now. Maraming salamat. It's an honor. It's a huge honor and also our pleasure to be doing this for you, to be a voice that you trust and to not be a grifter when it comes to wrestling takes about. So I'd like to think that we are some of the most nuanced and level-headed wrestling commentators, if you will, in the entire internet right now. Even though we're not the most popular, even though we're largely confined to the Philippines, even though we're not even mostly doing this in Tagalog. Kasi I know that Tagalog content mas sikat dito sa Pilipinas, pero it's actually a weird balancing act because we're always trying to figure out the right balance between reaching our international audience, which actually does exist, and syempre catering to our Filipino audience did. So sobrang hirap. We still haven't figured that out. But thank you anyway for sticking with us, whether you are Filipino, whether you're here in the Philippines, or whether you're elsewhere abroad and not Filipino. Maraming salamat.
Yeah, 12 years is no joke, man. I think I've only been part of 5 of those 12 years. Pero
I think at this point, mga 6 or 7
na. 6 or 7 na pala. Mataas na pala. So, even so, man, it's no joke to get to 12 years. Congratulations to you and Stan, to everybody who's been a part of the podcast ever since its inception.
Yeah.
Malaking bagay yan to get to 12 years, to all of us, to the Patreons that keep supporting us
Yes,
with,
sir.
with a paycheck every month, diba? To all the listeners who interact with us on social media, who share our episodes, to the people that walk up to us in public. I just met a few guys last Saturday at Brick Wall who say they're listeners. Shout out to AJ. Shout out to AJ.
Hello.
And his friend. Diba? There a lot of people out there are listeners of the Wrestling Podcast, and it really means so much to us that kahit hindi kami kompleto, diba? Kahit hindi kami nakakapaglabas ng episodes on the regular, we still are able to, unite and talk about wrestling, that this is a safe space for all of us to really digest our thoughts on the weekly events in the world of professional wrestling. And because of you guys, we're able to do this. Some of us are even able to make a living out of it. And ang laking bagay niyan after 12 years. So thank you.
Yeah, I say hey to JK. Thank you so much, brother. JK has been listening to us, has been watching us do our thing since he was a child. So that's pretty cool. Some of you have grown up with us the way we have also grown up since starting this podcast, myself and Stan and Shepard Camos na rin. It's crazy. Like we were literal babies. Hindi naman literal babies, pero we were pretty much babies when we started this whole thing, and now we are family men. Some of us are family men. Some of us are more mature. Some of us have stepped into more mature roles, if you will. Neil says we even have foreign reach. That's supposed to be because of the content and not necessarily because of the podcast. So the podcast has also become like a wrestling magazine na rin on social media. So I think that's one of my bigger points of pride, if you will. It's not just a podcast anymore. It's also kind of a little bit of a media empire here. We've branched out to Reels, to TikTok, diba? Shorts on YouTube, and some new video content every day. We have events, diba? For real. Speaking of events, guys, we still do have a lot of seats left to fill on our WrestleMania viewing party coming 1 week from Sunday. So malapit na. I know that you're probably waiting on the next payday in a week. So if you're waiting for that, abang-abang na kayo. Just go to tinyurl.com/WrestleMania42. It is 500 for 1 day early bird. For 2 days, it is 900 for a 2-day pass. If you're gonna decide late and walk in, it's 600 pesos. All of the tickets have free iced tea with them, and we hope to see you guys there. It's been great then doing these with you, doing these events with you. It's fun to have mobilized then the local wrestling community here in Manila, and syempre sometimes outside of Manila na rin. So maraming salamat to everyone here. All right, and now that that's out of the way, let's get to some wrestling talk. So it's not going to be a big anniversary episode since dalawa lang kami dito. Stan is in Korea now from Mongolia, so he's taking a well-deserved, well-earned vacation. And now we're here holding down the fort and covering all the interesting stuff that has happened over the weekend in the world of wrestling, starting with the big reveal on SmackDown last Saturday, Manila time. So we finally found out who the mystery caller was ni Randy Orton. Sino yung kausap niya on the phone? It is none other than Patrick McAfee, former Indianapolis Colts punter and former announcer on Raw. So Pat McAfee turns heel. He kicks Cody in the nuts. He cuts this promo about how he is pretty much a disenfranchised Attitude Era fan. He longs for the days of big, beefy men. Small guys don't do it for him. He likes them big and beefy like Randy Orton. And apparently he tunes into WWE TV and sees 45-minute Iron Man matches between two 5'5" guys. Kung saan man yun, please let us know because I would love to watch those. And says that, with all this happening, Randy Orton's still around. And WWE is in the shitter right now. WWE is doing
horrible
terribly.
ticket sales, diba?
Horrible ticket sales. WrestleMania is not sold out. Ratings are down. fan sentiment is down, and they're all blaming it on Cody. So the big thing is, apparently, according to rumors, TKO, the parent company of WWE, was the driving force behind this particular creative decision. And it seems as though yung promo ni Pat McAfee wasn't even completely scripted. Like, he really was flying off the cuff there. And it got so bad that the in-house creative team, the Triple H, who I think they are taking great pains to say that they have no involvement in Pat McAfee's entire promo. They made Cody go back out and cut this worked shoot, saying that, the Pat McAfee reveal was kind of weird. It was a weird flat reveal, as though the NWO's third man was Disco Inferno. And Cody says he's going to turn into a killer at WrestleMania. And now that, they pushed him, they pushed WWE, he can do that. And he started with giving the crossroads to Kit Wilson. So, all right, Emil has spouted his feelings. What about you, Chino? What do you feel about this whole thing, about Pat McAfee's involvement and the whole promo that he just gave?
Okay, so it's weird because it's segmented now in such a way wherein the start of SmackDown makes you feel one way, and then the middle of SmackDown makes you feel another. Diba? Kasi I saw the Pat McAfee plot twist on social media before I even saw SmackDown.
Sure.
So it made me feel like WWE is really going to double down on tanking this Mania so that they can hype the next Mania wherever that will be. Diba? Yun yung naisip ko. Kasi wala na explanation. Ang pangit na eh. Diba? This is the worst thing they could have done. Stephanie McMahon would have made more sense to be the caller than Pat McAfee. At least not reinforced yung appearance in Raw. Right? But then now that I think about it, after seeing Cody do his thing, it's kind of weird that they're also going against incorporating the corporate entity that is TKO into this very much kayfabe storyline, diba? Na parang we saw reports after SmackDown came out wherein it was said allegedly that TKO CEO or president Ari Emanuel was the mastermind behind this Pat McAfee push, because allegedly he wanted to make McAfee the new
big star
Stallone, diba? Parang ganun yung sinabi niya. He wanted to make him a big star essentially. And it's kind of weird that he has that, but okay, siguro he's McAfee's agent, and that's how it works out. But the fact that they're also incorporating that into the narrative of Cody, saying that it's part of the story and that they're going against corporate here, it's formalizing the idea that TKO also exists in the story. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't just a GM anymore. Or just Triple H anymore. There's actually like a whole corporate synergistic structure behind all of it. Now, yes, we were aware of this whole time, pero the fact that you're trying to show us, you're trying to really incorporate everything behind the scenes into the scene, it's kind of weird and frankly a little off-putting.
In a vacuum, I don't dislike the whole twist with Pat McAfee, but there are so many things working against it, mostly because, one, we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania when that happened. So you can tell somebody is desperate in TKO, and that person who is desperate, maybe it's Ari Emanuel or whoever, they're not self-aware enough to realize that, okay, maybe the ticket prices are the reason why WrestleMania isn't sold out yet. Like, if you were to go to WrestleMania this year after coming last year, would you still have been able to buy a ticket to the show? Or was Jet Kunyari still able to buy a ticket to the show?
My brother, who is based in the US, is planning to go regardless. But
okay,
personally, because I'm still based out here, I can't afford the ticket to Mania this year. And frankly, to be honest, I already did Mania. It's a bucket list thing for me. as it is for a lot of wrestling fans. So if you're a wrestling fan in the US and you've seen last year's Mania and you're seeing the build to this year's Mania, syempre mapaisip ka because that's not simple money there. That's not, hindi
Mm.
naman yan pocket change lang. You're gonna spend up to tens of thousands of dollars just getting to WrestleMania, diba? Including all the flights, the hotels, the merch, everything. So it's not a small amount of money. So the fact that they're not acknowledging the fact that it is a financial issue and they're concentrating on it being a creative issue is kind of weird, especially when this is the route that they took. This is their grand idea of hyping it up, bringing Pat McAfee into the fold, incorporating him into this feud that, by the way, still nobody asked for.
Yeah, that brings me to my second point. Like everyone wanted your story between Cody and Randy because they have 20 years, almost 20 years of history between each other, diba? Randy brought Cody into the WWE and, not even brought into the WWE, but, orchestrated his initial rise, diba? And now they have to swerve left and do this whole thing where Pat McAfee is now somehow the disgruntled voice of the Attitude Era fan, diba? So that's really, really strange. And again, it goes to show that there is no real planning being thrown together here. Alam mo yun, parang there's no real vision here. Like too many cooks are cooking in the kitchen, are stirring the pot, and I know how that feels talaga when when you have to go to work and some other stakeholder is messing with your work. It's really like that, and that's my biggest problem with it. Like, had this been a better written plot, had Pat McAfee been introduced much earlier, I don't think anyone would have had this visceral of a reaction to the whole thing. Because we already had the big moment where Randy turned heel, diba? And considering nobody was really asking Randy to turn heel. Like people wanted Cody to turn heel. Diba? Randy was and is still getting cheers from the crowd right now. And I feel like this is like their last big desperate move to have Randy be booed by the crowd. And I feel like they went too far off the deep end with it. Like, just because you couldn't get the reactions you wanted to get, you overshot the distance you had to go. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's weird because it's like they became too desperate that they threw the ball too far. Kumbaga, it was a Hail Mary na walang direct in the literal sense of the word. Na pang, wala tayong magawa, si Pat McAfee na lang. When there were plenty of other options here all left on the table. Like I said, they could have used Stephanie. She was right there. It would have explained why she was on Raw in the first place. Other than the whole forcing her down our throats. Pero now we get Pat McAfee, who's also being forced down our throats. And parang lahat ng goodwill na na-develop ni Pat McAfee with the fans over the past few years, being a commentator, being on NXT and all that, it's just out the window now because he's being shoehorned into this feud.
Yeah, diba? So I don't know. I've already gotten like the pulse of the people. So some people are saying it's mid. A lot of people are saying they're probably not going to watch or spend $30 to get this to get the show. So I think they shot themselves in the foot here. I feel like they're going to take it out on Triple H, and I feel like there is already a WWE TKO Civil War brewing. I feel like, and rightfully, creative ng WWE is made to feel like they're being sabotaged by the TKO brass. So I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know if this means they're gonna sell WWE to someone. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting here because Triple H is taking a lot of the heat, but I feel like it's clear now that TKO is a bad guy. And while some people will still think, no, Triple H is a shit booker, is shit creative, I feel like as the days go by, mas nagiging malinaw na it's TKO that's messing with the flow and the chemistry of WWE. Because they've done this before. They've done this a couple of years ago with The Rock, diba? They've
With
done
Travis
this
Scott, yeah.
with Travis Scott in John Cena's heel turn. A lot of things, messing around during the WrestleMania season. So I hope that this finally gets people off of Triple H's back. Like I know that Triple H doesn't always hit home runs, but I am still not gonna take Vince McMahon over him. You know what I mean? Like I have been too much of a fan for too long to know that Triple H is not the problem. All right. Next up on SmackDown, interesting thing. Before the whole Pat McAfee, after the whole Pat McAfee thing, the Miz, R-Truth and Damian Priest defended the WWE Tag Team Championship against the Miz and Kit Wilson. And the only reason why the Miz and Kit Wilson did not win is because the referee got accidentally cursed by Danhausen, and he couldn't count to 3. I've seen this be polarizing as well, but at the same time, it popped a lot of people, and some a lot are saying that this was like the only bright spot during the episode of SmackDown. What did you think of this?
I liked it. I actually liked it a lot more than Pat McAfee. That's to be sure, because I mean the egregious Cody Rhodes coming in and crossroading Kit Wilson, notwithstanding, this match was pretty entertaining, and the fact that they made Danhausen a little bit more prominent in it is pretty interesting. Now I know si JBL, or sorry, si Wade Barrett, JBL today. Wade Barrett has thoughts on this, diba? Saying that he's ruining the sanctity of a championship match. Well, he's Danhausen. He doesn't understand. He's kind of autistic in that way, wherein he beyond the idea of what a championship match is. Diba? He doesn't go out there for malice. He goes out there out of his own self-interest, I guess you could say. Kasi, diba, for you to get rid of the curse, you gotta pay him human monies, right? That's the only way so far in canon. So the fact that he's out there causing all kinds of trouble, para siya I liken him a lot to a DC character named Mr. Mixelpick. Yung interdimensional imp ni Superman na nanggugulo lang. That's who he is. He's an agent of chaos. Diba? He's beyond reproach in that way. Kaya yan yung interesting din dyan na he doesn't care about championships. He just cares about causing trouble. Right? And I like that idea of him.
Yeah, Mel says, to say the least, Danhausen is more entertaining than Pat. Doc G makes a good point here on YouTube that it's DDT magic. I feel like had this happened on DDT, a lot of people would be poo-pooing it and say it's DDT. But because it happened in WWE, a lot of people are enjoying it because it only is legit if it happens in WWE. You know what I mean? And that's what I don't like about this mindset. It's fun, yes, it's hilarious, and it doesn't go too far because it's a random episode of SmackDown. But at the same time, if this happened on some weird on a PLE, it would earn a lot more ire here. So sorry to see Danhausen here. I hope that they know not to push the envelope too much. Yeah, Neil is right. If Truth can come out and start doing weird stuff, but Truth is just dumb. He's not trying to make cursed magic happen like Danhausen does. But so interesting thing. If it gets some people going, it's fine. I just don't like the double standard that if it happens outside WWE, therefore it's not cool. Because I don't like that WWE is the standard or is the validation that spots like this needs. Mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. Next up, the main event is Sami Zayn defending the United States Championship against Carmelo Hayes once more because Carmelo Hayes asked him for a rematch. So if Sami won, then Melo would shut up about demanding a rematch because syempre, Sami won because of Trick Williams' interference, and if Sami won, it would really just be Sami versus Trick for the United States Championship at WrestleMania. So I think this is how they write off Carmelo Hayes, because I believe if the rumors are true, he's going on honeymoon at WrestleMania weekend. So he's missing out on a big WrestleMania payday. So A lot of people are still kind of pissed or kind of over Sami Zayn's character, even though he's showing a bit of a character development here by uh, by being a little more ruthless, by giving into the darker urges, if you will. What did you think of this whole chapter in this story?
Hindi ko gets kung ba't galit yung tao kay Sami Zayn.
Well, apparently people are just tired of the whole underdog thing. Like, parang, I've seen this be a thing back in the late 2000s and the 2010s, where people got tired of Rey Mysterio being the perennial underdog. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is a thing.
That's who he is, though. So it's like, I don't know. It's weird to me to hate. Parang ile-level ko siya dun sa idea ng galit tayo sa mga trying hard. Like, that's a Filipino concept I don't like. Ayaw natin kasi trying hard sila. Diba? But that's what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to want to be better. And that's what Sami Zayn essentially is doing now. And despite all the semi-heelish antics that he's been, trying to fend off, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But that's neither here nor there. I like how he was goaded into the match by Trick Williams. I don't like how Yachty also is there. Kind of gives me the same feeling as Travis Scott and John Cena's storyline.
So Lil Yachty, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because Lil Yachty tries to justify his inclusion, saying that he's a fan. Like, he's actually a WWE fan and not a random dude that WWE is trying to get piece of the clout. But he's definitely not as big a star as Travis Scott, but at the same time, he isn't going to be as wishy-washy as Travis Scott. So it's weird because I understand where it's coming from. Some people are saying that, oh, hey, kung yung batayan lang pala is you're a real wrestling fan, then everyone else should be part of the show. But at the same time, everyone else is not a celebrity like Lil Yachty, right? So I don't feel as strongly as Lil Yachty. I mean, as others about Lil Yachty. I feel like a lot of people are just generally distrustful of mainstream celebrities being in wrestling. Like, I don't see why that's a bad thing. Maybe because I come from a lower level of wrestling where if you bring in someone that's bigger than the company, that's a net positive and a net win for everyone, diba? As long as they're there to do their jobs and not disrespect the business, diba? So I get why there's a lot of distrust. I get that, there's a stigma against the Travis Scotts of the world, but to me, it's just another person that they can use to make the show bigger.
I mean, gets ko naman yun. I understand that there is a benefit to all of that. And bottom line is he's there to put eyes on the product despite not being as big a star as Travis Scott. Siguro, I guess it's also effective that I find him quite annoying.
Sure. Well,
really
he was supposed to be a heel.
Because he's supposed to be a heel, exactly. And he's supposed to put over another heel in Trick Williams. Pero sa akin lang din, is I kind of find both of them to be equally belligerent. so parang hindi siya nakakatulong dun sa lack of verboseness ni Trick Williams, to say the least. Diba? Parang if they need somebody to articulate what Trick Williams is trying to say or put points across better than the way Trick Williams can say it, then they needed to pick a better rapper, siguro. I don't have an example in mind right now, but the thing that I'm trying to say is here, if they really wanted somebody to put over Trick Williams better, then they could have done better with Little Yachty.
Yeah. Sure. I guess the only thing that's really going against him is that he's not like a big deal. Like the biggest thing that Lil Yachty was known for was a song that he did 2 years ago. It's not as ubiquitous as Travis Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It's also one way to look at it. Sure.
Yeah. All right. Before one last thing from SmackDown before we go to break. Interesting developments. Actually, the story that I am tuned into the most, Tama Tonga is going against Solo Sikoa. He gives the lantern back to Uncle Howdy, which ends like weeks and months of back and forth about the stupid lantern. He has an ounce of self-awareness where he says, nah, this lantern is driving us apart. And, what's the purpose? What is the reason? and he just gives it back, and so that the MFT can finally get back to chasing championships. About and Solo doesn't like that. He initially agrees to it, but you can tell that he has other bad things in mind for Tamatonga.
I like this a lot. First of all, I like how it's back with the Wyatt Six, because it just closes the chapter out on this incredibly unnecessarily long feud here. The focus should have always been on Tamatonga and the infighting that's going to happen with the MFTs here. Diba? That we've seen in the past, the relationships that he's bringing out with the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura. So the fact that that's still being acknowledged is a good start. And Tama really just needs to cook on his own here. Diba? And the fact that they're on the verge rather of giving him a singles run, is really just goes to show that he really is as talented as advertised.
Yeah, he is really good, and it's a good thing that they are really just banking on one of their investments from NJPW. I say when he left NJPW, he was really being pushed as a single star. So it's a good thing that they're kind of realizing that and trying to move him away from the role of being Solo's lackey. Like, if there's any person in the MFT who doesn't deserve to be a lackey to Solo Sikoa, it's him and Jeff Cobb.
True.
So yeah,
maybe it could be a start, diba? Parang no evolution days, like one.
Yeah,
because they don't really need a stable anymore. They can all hold their own. All the members of the MFTs can go on their own. But if anything, Solo needs them more than they need Solo at this point. So I think this could be a start of the breakdown of the MFTs.
Yep. I think it's just them kicking out the guys who are big, but they kick Jacob out because Jacob was really over, and then I don't think Tama is as over as Jacob, but he is also, he was also kind of eyed to be a big single star then. So we'll see. I think people are, to Neil's point, Jeff deserves to be a big star then, but people are writing him off because of his look, and that's kind of sad for the rest of us who have seen what Jeff Cobb was really capable of in outside WWE. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, we have stuff from NXT and NJPW and outside the ring. But before that, let's take a quick Emil Nate dance break, Jasper. All right, NXT Stand and Deliver happened yesterday, and it was a good show. It was highly rated on Cage Match, much more so than the episode of SmackDown. So the biggest stories is we have new top champions across both the men and women's divisions. So Tony D'Angelo has finally fulfilled his prophecy and become an NXT champion. And Lola Vice has also broken the long reign in JC Jane. So first, Tony D. You called it, Chino? You called Tony D winning the championship. So what do you feel about that now?
I love it. I love how, first of all, 2 for 2, called both. Got both right. Dapat tinaya ko yung loto. Tinaya ko sa book ito para manalo pera. But
for this year.
Yeah, sayang. But then, it was nice because I was right. They needed to do something with Tony D here. They needed to pull the trigger on this character because if he didn't win, anong gagawin niya, diba? Also, I like how the infighting between Paige and Ricky Saints is self-contained. I think they can just finish this as a one-off and move on to the main roster. They are more than ready at this point. They don't need titles, either of them. They can carry storylines on their own. So the fact that they're their own little island now really just telling me that they're on their way out of NXT at this point.
Yeah, I think so naman. I think so then. I feel like there is a shelf life then. Because we still treat NXT as developmental instead of a third brand. So wala. As long as NXT is still developmental to the main roster, it's always gonna be that, and it's always gonna be the life cycle of an NXT main eventer, diba? JC Jane, what do you feel? I find it funny that people are giving JC props when before she lost the championship, all you can ever hear was people didn't like JC as champion.
She finds herself in a weird little spot here because I mean we know that she's good, right? We know that she's good, and I think they've overcorrected with her just a little bit, diba? By keeping her champion so for as long as she has been champion, and even making her double champion, going as far as that. So I think the fact that they've already done all that really just goes to show that she doesn't have anything to prove anymore. And the real problem, if anything, here is where does JC find herself now since she's still part of a stable? Like, I don't see all three of them getting called up simultaneously because that's a harder fit than to say mag-isa lang siya, diba? So I think at this point, it's really hard to tell if she is even going to get a call up or if she's going to spend a little bit more time in NXT.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time that I don't know lang where she's going to fit on the main roster because all the women's divisions are stacked. I feel like there is a bit of a bottleneck on the main roster, but then again, people are getting injured, people are getting sidelined. Like Jordan Grace just got injured, so I feel like they could go for it, but I don't feel like she's gonna get a big a big spot then on the main roster. Like, yeah. John says Fallon, Henley, and Laney Reed are gonna give JC the boot, and then what? Gonna create another offshoot of the group. So from Toxic Attraction to Fatal Influence to another new group with a new set of women.
Poisonous society.
I don't know, man. Yeah, so it's gonna be weird. It's a strange thing. All right. Zarya lost to Sol Ruka, and until now, Zarya still can't win despite being shafted the entire time, the entire partnership, the entire friendship. I get that Sol Ruka is really popular. I get that they are high on Sol Ruka, but talk about a really bad lack of self-awareness here. Like, I know that it's all a story, but if I were Zarya, I would kind of be disappointed here. Say, what are we doing? Like,
yeah,
it's
true. I also I had an inkling suspicion that creative isn't as self-aware as you'd like them to be, and then they put Soul over, and the worst thing that could have happened. Soul is still over. She's still technically a face, and Zarya is still technically a heel. Siya na nga yung kinawawa. Siya pa yung natalo. So I don't know what their plans are with Zarya at this point, but she is so far from the hype she received when she debuted on NXT, diba? If you're supposed to move on from this feud and into better things, then sana mas maganda talaga yung plano nila kay Zarya moving forward because it's hard to see how she'll land on her feet here.
John is asking when Zarya is getting the payoff. I don't think she's getting a payoff because she's the heel and they've designated her as the heel. Like, they really, really love Sol Ruka. And the heels don't get a payoff unless they become so undeniable that they have to do a double turn. You know what I mean? It's just
it's
sad.
Weird. It's weird that the lack of self-awareness is there in the year of our Lord 2026, diba? Akala natin nagbago na yung storytelling ng WWE and that they would really know what a bad friend is, but I guess we're still stuck in the 90s here.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Everything is at face value.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really did think that it would be a lot better now, especially that some of the old guard is no longer running the show. But yeah, it's pretty sad that they are still, they're still kind of not aware of how it makes their characters look. Diba? So wala. I do hope there's a payoff for Zarya. Like I do hope that this is
Sana
them
talaga. Yeah.
getting it out of the way. But if I were running the show, I would have gotten the payoff for Zarya out of the way. And if I wanted Sol Ruka to be the conquering face, I would have had her do the thing much, much later. It's just strange. Last from Stand and Deliver, Dark State is teasing an implosion. Dion Lennox staked his claim for the men's North American Championship by himself, okay? Miles Bourne after their match. And then afterwards, he gets called out by Saquon Sugars. He says, na, bakit mo ginawa yun, Dion? I thought it was good. I thought Dark State was formed because we were going to take opportunities for ourselves. So you did that for yourself because you came out there by yourself. So it's an interesting thing. What do you feel about the group imploding? I feel like it's about time that end.
I think it's about time. I think they're realizing that this group actually has a ceiling. I don't think it's gotten to the point where they want it to be. They being creative. I know they wanted it to be like a new Shield or to some extent, pero hindi talaga eh. Hindi kumagat eh. Right? And then all 5 of the members couldn't really put themselves over it that way. I don't think Dion Lennox is a star on his own, that he can hold his own. Siya talaga yung lumalamang sa akin out of all the members of Dark State. So the fact that they're actually making him stand out in such a way is good because I'm a Dion Lennox fan. I like him ever since he was a nerd with the glasses and books, and I like him now as a solo star.
Yeah, it's well, he looked like a solo star tagal na, diba? But I don't think he could do the whole heel thing so much. So but good luck to them. Like it is like 4 guys that they try to get over, and I feel like only one person was really trying to get over or was really getting over, and that was Cutler James when he was doing the ambiguously gay jokes.
The homoerotic stuff, diba?
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
And they didn't double down on it. He got rid of it like 2 weeks later. So
dude.
Naging ambiguous na talaga sila. They just became a generic stable now instead of what they wanted to actually be. So it's just hard at this point to continue when they're so vague in their description.
Yeah, sayang yun. Like I thought that was pretty funny, and I thought like that was Cutler James doing something that he thought was gonna get him over, and it kind of did get him over, and then they kind of nipped that in the buzz, and that was pretty sad. So, if that happened to them, that pretty much set the tone for what Dark State was gonna be like, Because if Dion Lennox was a designated over guy, then I think it's not a good. It doesn't have a long shelf life.
I am a fan of Saquon Sugars, though. I think
sure
he reminds me a lot of Dean Ambrose in certain.
I just don't like his weird single strap gear, single strap tights.
I like
his big show tights.
I like Saquon Sugars just because of the single strap, the big show looking tights. Kasi mukha talaga siyang baliw eh. So I like that. I like that aspect of him. Pero yun nga. I mean, as a group, I feel pretty meh about Dark State.
Yeah, poor Osiris Griffin is like the forgotten one. He's just big.
Unfortunately,
Cutler James is the ambiguously gay white boy. Dion is the appointed leader of the group. Saquon is you're right. Saquon is the Dean Ambrose of the group. Okay, let's move on to NJPW. I don't know if you saw this, but Sakura Genesis happened last Saturday, and they crowned a new IWGP heavyweight champion. This is a big deal because one, it's a Gaijin, Callum Newman from the UK, and it's also notable because he is the new youngest IWGP heavyweight champion, breaking the record set by Shinsuke Nakamura all those years ago. I believe that was in 2006 or so, 2003, I think, something around those times. Callum Newman is 23 years old, and for those who don't know what Callum Newman is like, the best way I can describe it, and this is a way that kind of disrespects him a little bit, but he feels like the second coming of Finn Balor, of Prince Devitt, diba? He is Prince Devitt if he started out as heavyweight in New Japan. So he is pretty much made in the mold of the New Japan stars. Like I feel like NJPW is starting over with their core because so many have left about may exodus talaga. And he, as the leader, as a new bratty leader of the United Empire, I feel like may dating siya. And speaking of the United Empire, Will Ospreay has returned to NJPW to wrestle once again after 2 years and 2 months, and meron siyang character development. He, much like Finn Balor in the Judgment Day, he is wondering why kupal na yung stablemates niya when I believe he left them as an honorable man. And now you can see it written on the wall that they are pretty much very, very close to turning heel on Will Ospreay the same way that the Judgment Day turned heel on Finn Balor last month.
First of all, congratulations to Callum Newman, your new IWGP heavyweight champion. It's interesting kasi tama ka, a lot of their stars left. I was surprised they put the title on somebody so young and a gaijin nonetheless. Siguro si President Tanahashi here really has a lot of faith in somebody so young and so fresh. Diba? They're putting all their eggs in one basket here with Callum Newman. So I hope it pulls off, and I can't wait to see what he can actually do. With regards to Will Ospreay, I think them turning on him is the right move to completely write off Mr. Billiam here, because it's perfect. It just writes itself diba? In the way that they wrote Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day. It's just a perfect way to also write Will Ospreay out of the United Empire and possibly out of New Japan.
Yun. So the United Empire is coming over to AEW because Will Ospreay at the end of the show, after the show, during the backstage press con, they asked him to come over because he has work problems with the Death Riders. So if a turn is happening, it's likely going to be at Dynasty when I feel like someone, a few guys from the United Empire will be coming over. So if Ospreay is if Ospreay is losing to Moxley, it might be because of that. Yeah. All right. Lastly, outside of the major wrestling companies, Mercedes Moné is no longer a champion anywhere at all. She is now zero belts Moné because the last championship that she held was from our neighbors in Malaysia. The APAC Wrestling Women's Championship was vacated because basically she couldn't, or they couldn't work out a deal to go over to Malaysia, and APAC Wrestling did not want to have her drop the championship to anyone else because they wanted the story to close by having North Phoenix Diana win the championship back from Mercedes. So as an outsider to the industry, to the local industry, Chino, what do you feel about this whole thing?
It's weird because I know I keep saying it's weird, but this is really, it sticks out kasi she started the year with what, 19 championships, like
14 naman.
14. There was some ridiculous number of championships from so many different promotions around the world, and now it feels like napagod na siya. She's done with jet lag. She's done with her travels around the world, about her excursions, if you will. And now she's just focused on being a AEW star. Now that said, it's kind of interesting as well. Again, another term I overuse. That they couldn't come to a deal with her with regards to performing in Malaysia. I, for one, would have been excited to fly over to Kuala Lumpur and catch Mercedes Moné in an APAC wrestling show. However, I understand that financially and siguro logistically, that wouldn't have been the case. I don't like the fact that it had to be dropped. I would have rather seen her drop it to somebody else and then have Diana take the title from that other person, whoever it may have been. Pero I guess the promotion still has the final say on what happens to the belt. And so if they thought that this was the best option for them moving forward, I guess that's the best option they have at this point.
So, ang basa ko, I'm not privy to anything involving APAC, and I'm not gonna judge anyone here. But ang basa ko kasi is Mercedes needed to drop the championship as soon as possible to complete yung arc niya of her downfall, diba? Like, if it was really the last championship that she had left, then there is no reason for her um to keep holding on to it for longer, diba? I also understand that she might have management that was negotiating and working out deals with other companies in her place, diba? So I feel like she was trapped in a place that she didn't want to be. Like, I feel like maybe if it was her dealing with Shaukat directly, baka magagawan pa niya ng paraan yung yung budget. But I feel like she did not have that luxury and that freedom as well, because she is still a big star. So she still needs to be compensated properly. I understand that part, especially if you're gonna fly all the way to fucking Malaysia, diba? There is that. But I feel like she had to lose the championship because she finally had to hit rock bottom, if you will, in the kayfabe side. So yeah, sayang lang. I feel like the biggest, I don't want to comment on it too much, but I will say that the biggest solution, or the easiest solution, should have been just to drop the championship to someone else so that Phoenix could win it whenever she comes back to the US or whatever. But it is what it is, and they did not go for that. So yeah, sayang lang. Sayang lang.
Yeah, sayang talaga.
Right, that is it for our live stream tonight, this week. Thank you for joining us on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, if you're still on Facebook. We will be addressing that soon enough. I think the camel's back has been broken by the straw. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking to you about that pretty soon. Right, Chino, you got any plugs for this week?
Yeah, this week is the start of the Comedy Manila open mic competitions. I will be at all of them. Also, this is just my way of saying nawala on Thursday, because the elimination round starts off tomorrow at Polari in Shaw Boulevard, Quezon City. Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City. Wednesday at Tito's Capitolio. Thursday back at Polari Sky Lounge, Shaw Boulevard. And Friday at the Cellar, Cool Pals Bar in Century Park, Malate, Manila. All these tickets are available at comedymanila.ph. Check out all the new up-and-coming comics. Support them. The winner gets 10,000 pesos and a spot at the Cool Pals Comedy Festival happening on May 30th. So really a lot of stake, and really one of the highlights of the comedy year here in the Philippines. So hopefully you guys can come check it out.
Boom. And as for me, wala pa namang bagong plugs, just go buy WrestleMania tickets. I believe also standing room tickets are still available at a discounted rate for Dito naman. So if you are still looking for a way to go watch Minoru Suzuki this Sunday na siya. Tickets are still available for 600 pesos. I believe after Wednesday or so, it will be 1,000 pesos. So go check that out on dexcon.helixpay.ph. Yo, thank you to everyone. What announcement, Jasper?
About
what are we talking about?
Streams, diba?
No, no. I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys separately about it first, because I only just thought about it before we went on the air. So I don't wanna surprise our co-hosts who are not here with us right now. Right. Thanks, Jasper, for reminding us. And thanks, Jasper, as well. Babyface producer Jasper, for always making us sound great, for always manning the live stream. Manning the live stream is really, really hard when you're also hosting the show at the same time. So I really, really appreciate Jasper for being around when he is. So thanks, Jasper. If you want to go continue the conversation with us, it is at Wrestling2X Pod on Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky, at Wrestling Podcast on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook. For Chino, it's at Chino Supersize on all platforms. For Stan, at _Stan C, at EML Meister pala, at Monday Night Rowan for Emil and Rowan. For myself, it is at Rosewar on Twitter, and at Shang.Daddy on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. All right, that's it for our episode. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on Thursday for our live stream. Until then, please stay safe, stay dry, stay cool. Lang init sa labas. Stay hydrated all the time, guys. Wrestling Podcast. Out. Dominic. Peace. To the cheers.